Attention uploaders and downloaders, your time for torrenting without repercussions is officially up. Rolling out this week is the Copyright Alert System, which is an agreement between 5 of the ISPs that most of us use: Comcast, Cablevision, at&t, Wireless, and Time Warner, and major film studios and record labels. As Scott discussed a few weeks back, we've known this was coming for a while, and it goes into effect, well, now. So what is CAS and what does it do? It's basically a 6 strikes and you're out system for monitoring copyright violations, or more specifically, 6 strikes and you're screwed. Under the new agreement, if you obtain media illegally, for example on peer-to-peer sharing sites, you'll receive a polite email or voicemail the first and second times you violate. For the 3rd and 4th violations, they break your kneecaps. I mean, direct you to some educational materials which you agree that you read and understand. The 5th and 6th times, they will mail you a severed finger and can slow your internet to a crawl for a few days as punishment. I only made one of those things up. But hey, then you're done. Unless, of course, the media companies decide to sue you for serial piracy, which now they can. You may be thinking, but what if someone else in my household or a neighbor is doing all that dirty downloading? Tough cookies, since according to CAS, the account holder is responsible for all activity on the network. But what if the software, which is called Mark Monitor, flags you an error? Don't worry, you'll just need to pay $35 to plead your case before the American Arbitration Association. If you win, you get your $35 back. So that sounds fair enough, right, Internet? Right? Looks like approximately 85 of you agree, judging by the YouTube reactions, the current top comment being, take your copyright mafia and die in a fire. Yeah, so it's safe to say it's not a really popular move among this crowd, but before we start launching death threats, let's look at how the ISPs actually gather information. For one, ISPs are not required to filter copyrighted content. Instead, they just look for the IP addresses associated with peer-to-peer transfers. Nothing all that sophisticated, in other words. That means if you're savvy enough to use a proxy, a VPN, or IP masking software, you could stay under the radar. As well, the Center for Copyright Info says that public Wi-Fi hotspots, like those at your library or your local coffee shop, will not be subject to alerts. In fact, in a blog post, Executive Director Jill Lesser specifically calls out Starbucks as not part of the CAS network. That network applies only to individual account holders. And if you really don't want to be a part of the network, you could switch to a smaller ISP if you can find one in your area, but let's face it, most of us probably won't. Aside from the penalties placed on individuals, critics of CAS say that it could kill the open wireless movement, which wants to make wireless internet available to all at little or no cost. We spoke with Adi Kamdar of the Electronic Frontier Foundation, who pointed out that those first violation notices under CAS tell you to lock down your account with a password. This practice violates your right to share wireless and can stifle development of independent business and web access just for the public good. A contributing factor is that many places across the country have access to only 1 or 2 large ISPs and have no alternative. If you've received one of these CAS alerts, whether real or in error, please let me know at Annie@revision3.com. We'll continue to keep tabs on this issue, and for more background, check out Scott's episode from a few weeks back. For TFN, this is Annie.